Hello and welcome and happy Tuesday. You are live with Sandra at It's All About Choices, where you make the decision to take action with your health, your weight loss goals, and I guide you through the best choices for you. So every Tuesday, I have the pleasure of dishing out your daily dose of nutrition, wellness news for your mind, your body, and your soul. And I'm so thankful that you all tune in with me every week. I don't take it lightly. I am very grateful that you take time out of your schedule to, get a little news that'll help to move you forward. Hopefully you're taking a break from the day to day to kind of clear your mind so you can go through the rest of your day refreshed and focused. And so those who are tuning in live, I thank you for tuning in. Feel free to say hello to me, give me a shout out. And those who take time to listen to the replay, I thank you for pausing and taking time out to listen. And definitely those who are listening to the replay, please tune in, chime in, make comments, ask questions. So I do want you to feel a part of the process just as everybody else who was watching live. And I do look at the thread and I will respond to your comments and your questions. And so while people are tuning in, give me a minute to pause and I'm going to get my window set up because as you all know, I like to refer to you by your name when you tune in, and I like to address your questions while we are online or your comments as well. So give me 1 second and I will do that. And we are good to go. So I see people tuning in. So definitely feel free to say hello to me so I can see who's online and where you're tuning in from. And so today we are starting a new theme for July and how to manage a social life without gaining a whole bunch of weight, really is what it's all about. And so we are going to talk about social events. Okay, I'm going to give you 4 keys to dining out without the unwanted weight gain and some little tips and tricks to add to your toolbox to make eating out enjoyable. For some people, it can be stressful, especially if you are trying to lose weight or you're trying to get healthier, you're trying to improve some labs. So you feel a little anxiety when it comes to time to eat out or to go out to different events. And really, eating out, going out is a good opportunity to test out some new strategies that you may have come up with to deal with the temptation. And so usually we always have things that we kind of go into say, oh, I won't do this or I won't eat that. And so here's a time to really put it to the test to see if it will work, if it is feasible, and if it's practical, if it's realistic. And any of us, we can quit sugar, we can say we're going to detox for a short period of time, but figuring out how to work around eating out makes us stronger in our lifelong maintenance of these habits. So if we want to keep the weight off, if we want to continue weight loss, we really need to know how to handle ourselves in different situations because it's not realistic to think that we're going to always stay home or we're going to always have the ability to control what we eat. So I ask you, are you constantly being told to cook at home for faster weight loss? Has anybody ever been told that? So kind of let me know in the chat. But recent studies are showing that there are ways to balance dining out and still losing weight. However, you do need to have the right tools in your toolbox in order to make that happen. So those are those 4 must-knows that we're going to talk about today to where you can eat out, enjoy yourself without feeling like you got to feel left out or you can't enjoy what you really want to enjoy without overdoing it. Okay? And so I'm looking for comments. So I see people tuning in. So definitely say hi to me. And so for those who don't know me, a quick introduction of myself. My name is Sandra Goltry, and I am a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and I simply help people to overcome that frustration, that overwhelm associated with failed attempts at weight loss, keeping it off, and just improving their overall health status. So simple as that. It's really about building lifestyle habits that will last for a lifetime. Nothing, not a short fix, but something that will happen over life, okay, that will stay with you through the test of time. And so the question that I have is, do you feel restaurants are setting you up for failure? Whether you're trying to eat healthy or whether you're trying to lose weight, do you feel like restaurants may be setting you up? I mean, we have those low calorie dishes, but they generally have a lot of sodium in there. We don't realize that. Then you have those savory dishes like the ribs that come in at about 100 grams of sugar. So we don't think about that kind of stuff. But studies are showing that about 92% of the restaurants, the entrees, they come in at calories that are more than what the average adult should have in one day. So for some people, that's 1,200. In some cases, that's 1,800, 2,000. but I've seen it. And the thing is, that's not the only meal that you're eating in a day. So you're going to eat other things. And that's very easy how we can overeat and not even realize it. Okay. And so we are going to kick things off. I know I always like to ask a question before we kick things off. So if you relate to this, type in the relate. If you find yourself gaining 1 to 3 pounds or more as a result of eating out. Okay. And when you do you feel defeated? Do you feel like your weight loss goals have kind of been derailed when you eat out, or do you fear even eating out altogether because you're trying to reach certain goals? So if you can relate to, you're eating out, or even you're traveling and you're going to eat out. So any form of you're not eating at home, having control, do you kind of have any anxiety because you feel like you're going to gain weight, or do you actually gain weight? So for those who can relate, okay, I see some people, especially when they go on vacation. So thank you, Krista, for that. So absolutely, going on vacation, especially because it's several days, right? Usually when we vacation, it's more than one day, and it can add up because we want to enjoy ourselves. So we want to be able to balance that and feel comfortable. And so our first topic is you want to break things up early. So this is one of the first keys to enjoying dining out without the unwanted weight gain. And so here's a scenario. So you order this pasta dish. And as we know, pasta dishes are usually large, right? It's a ton of pasta. You may have some meat. If you do, it's a little bit. You may have vegetables. If you do, it's usually a little bit. And so, but you have it set in your mind going in that the strategy you're going to try is you're going to eat half of your pasta, right? So now the pasta is there, your food is there, and you go for it, right? You're eating. And it's difficult to practice that self-control or that portion control that you spoke about because now the food is in front of you. So how do you combat that? So there's a couple of ways that you can do that. You can ask for a to-go container, and that comes out with your meal. Now, this is something that the waiters are not used to doing. They usually give it to you at the end of the meal, right? So ask for it at the beginning of your meal is one approach. And so you can box it up yourself. Now, you have to I've had situations where I've done that, and I'm sitting there waiting for the waiter to come with the box. And then they're like, oh, I didn't realize you wanted it now. I was going to give it to you at the end. So you might have to stay on top of that one. Another approach is you can ask them to box your food up before they even bring it to you, half of it, and then bring you the other half. Now, again, that's something they're not used to because they want things to be presented well, and they want the dish to come out nice and pretty and things like that. But again, it's about knowing where you are and meeting yourself where you are and being honest, because a lot of times people will not portion it out, or they just don't have the control to portion it out. So those are some ways that you can do that. And that way you can still enjoy your favorite dishes. But if they are higher in calories, higher in fat, you've already kind of cut that in half because you are portioning it out. Okay, so that's one strategy that you can do. So another one, now let me ask you this. Let me post my question here. So how many people find it easy or challenging to portion out your food? Okay, if it's all sitting right there for you, what has been your experience with portioning it out? Like, are you able to do half? Is that easy for you to do? Or is it a challenge for you to do? Or do you just tend to find yourself eating all your food in most situations? And then that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So share with me, where do you fall in that department? All right. And then I will look for those comments. And then I will go on to the next topic while I'm looking for those comments. Okay, we've got some people saying that they find it easy. I know for me, it took time. It took time because it's like it's there, you want to enjoy it, especially if you have the mindset where we're raised, where we got to eat everything on our plate. So don't feel fear in taking things home, because again, remember, it's going to sit on you. You're the one that's going to either regret it or not regret it later on. So just kind of think about those things. So number 2, our second key to enjoying dining out is know what's on the menu before you get there. Now, this is an important one. A lot of people don't take advantage of this like they should. So to have a successful dining out experience, especially when you're trying to watch calories for weight loss or even for other health reasons, begins with advanced preparation. Okay, so the more you know, the more you're prepared, the more informed you are, and the better choices that you will make or not make, right? It just depends, but you're more informed, and that's what's key. And I challenge you to take it a step further. So it's good to go online and look at the menu to see what they have, and then you can decide what you want to order, maybe what you want to substitute, but also look for the nutrition information. Okay. So I always encourage my clients to look for the nutrition information. And this is where label reading is important. So the more you really know how to read labels and understand labels, that information transfers over to the nutrition information. And you will see, I usually say, scan the calories, scan the sodium. I usually start with just those two because those are the big things that kind of fall through the cracks that are really eye openers and that people can really relate to quickly. And so when you are ordering, I always also share, do not fear asking what's in the food. How is it prepared? Can you get things on the side? Can you change how things are prepared? For me, I ask for, well, what are your lowest sodium options? Or is this dish high in sodium? And if the waiter doesn't know, then they will ask. So never fear to ask questions, to make substitutions, because again, you want to have an enjoyable dining experience while you're there, but then you also don't want to feel like you're regretting it when you come home. Okay. And so if you like to have dessert, so here's a very popular example. If you like to have dessert and you know this restaurant has a dessert that you like, then plan for that. Plan for that. Cut back on some of what you eat when you're having your meal so that you can enjoy your dessert as well. And another thing is, try not to go to a restaurant starving, okay? Because if you go to the restaurant starving, then you will eat the whole bread basket. You will order things that you probably had no intentions of ordering. So have a snack of some sort before you leave, whether that's some nuts, whether that's some fruit, something to have on your stomach so that you are not going into the restaurant starving. Okay. And then you can, and that also gives you more control over what you order and how much you eat as well. So we go in with the best intentions, saying, okay, I'm gonna cut back during my day so I can save calories, but it backfires. Trust me, it does backfire. And so I will look for some comments and I will ask this question. So we're doing good. All right. So okay, some new comments here. Well, I see some comments, but unfortunately I cannot read them. So as they come through, then if I see them, I will mention them. Okay. So yes or no. So do you look for a menu online when you are going to a restaurant in advance? Okay, to try to scope things out. So yes or no, if you do research and do look for menus online. So I do encourage you to do that. And another thing that a lot of people don't know, especially if it's a chain restaurant, by law they must have nutrition information somewhere. So whether it's online, whether they have a kiosk, whether they have it printed on paper, but they must have it somewhere. And they don't want you to know because they don't want you to change your choices, but the more you know, the better. So just know that that information is available somewhere by law, especially if it's a chain restaurant. Okay. All righty. So let's go into let me see, I see some comments here. All right. Yes. So we have some people that do research. So I highly recommend it, no matter the restaurant, fast food, fine dining, definitely look at all of it. Okay. And so our third key to dining out without the unwanted weight gain, or, not even weight gain, the bloatedness. How many times have you eaten out? You get home a couple hours later, you feel bloated, you feel horrible, you feel like, you just overdid it. So it all goes together. So beware of the sneaky calories on salads and vegetables. All right. So I've heard this many times. Oh, I ordered a salad, I put some chicken on it, had some vegetables, and I'm doing good. Not always the case. Some salads come in more than a cheeseburger with fries. So we got to really be careful on it's naturally they are healthy, but it depends on how that restaurant prepares it. So that's what's key. So salads and their vegetables, they're healthy size. They are healthy size when they are prepared that way. Okay. So ask questions. Ask if it's sauteed. Ask if it has seasonings on it. Unless they're saying steam, then there's some other things going on. So we must pay attention to that. So they're also they're also a vehicle for added calories. So that's what I was talking about with like dressing, deep fried, maybe it has cheese on it, things of that nature. So you have to kind of watch. Not saying that you shouldn't have it, but the more you're aware, the more you can make adjustments. Okay. And watch out for the toppings. The toppings on salads. I mean, it can add up. The dried fruit, the croutons, the cheese, the different types of seeds and nuts, which a lot of these foods are healthy. But again, if you're talking about an entree salad, it's usually in larger amounts. So that's where the key is. So that's where you need to kind of maybe cut that salad in half and things of that nature. So don't feel fear in customizing your salad, getting your salad dressings on the sides and things of that nature. Okay. And so one of the solutions that you can do for salads is, like I said, you could order your salad dressing on the side. But what I see some people do that kind of negates doing that is they will either stick the lettuce in the in the separate dish, or they'll stick their fork in the separate dish. So we're still not quite portioning when we do that. So you want to kind of be mindful of that, okay? Because if the dish is empty by the time you're done with your salad, then we really didn't portion, right? So we got to watch that. So sometimes that works and sometimes that doesn't work. And so if you're ordering vegetables, again, ask how they're prepared. See, and then it depends on your situation. Some people want it just steamed. Some people say, hey, can you lighten up on the butter or the oil? So just seasoning, that's the big one, really, with vegetables. It's what seasonings. I mean, I ordered a spinach one time and it had so much salt that I couldn't even eat it. So you have to kind of watch certain things but then you want it to have some flavor. So you can get some of those things on the side. You can get the butter on the side. You can get things on the side to control how much is on there. But again, you want to enjoy eating out. So that's where that balance comes in. So you could just eat half of it or something like that. All right. So my next question is, I'm looking for comments. So everybody's doing good. So the next question is, do you skip the croutons on your salad or do you eat them? So I see this a lot. So I observe people, they will skip the croutons, but they'll eat the bread basket. So it's the same thing, y'all. Just one's crunchy and one's not. So you don't have to cut your croutons. But one trick to offset the calories, if you like croutons, you skip the bread basket. There's ways to offset the calories. I like the crunch factor, so I enjoy my croutons. Or you could ask for them on the side. You could. I mean, you could always pick them off too. But I see a lot of people avoiding them because of the carbs, and that's really not your big carb header. Okay. The bread basket is going to do a whole lot more damage than the croutons. Okay. So if you like them, you don't have to skip them. Okay. I personally like the crunch factor. All right. So I got some people admitting that they eat the croutons. So yes, you do not have to cut croutons out to lose weight. All right. All right. So what we want to do though, when you're eating out on a serious note, you want to focus on quality versus quantity. Okay. Be selective, be picky. Okay. And what I mean by that is I focus on quality over getting your money's worth. Okay. How many of you all have went to a restaurant, you're spending your money, especially if it's a buffet, right? A brunch buffet at that. You want your money's worth. You want to eat your money's worth. Well, that's a recipe for weight gain for sure. So kind of shifting your mindset that you want to eat for quality and not necessarily getting your money's worth. Okay. Because getting your money's worth, that's the dollar menu, so to speak. That's going to be the less lean cuts of meats and things of that nature. So you want to have some selectivity. And as my clients grow in their journey with changing old behaviors, creating new behaviors, they find themselves becoming more selective in what they eat. And when they indulge, now don't get it wrong. Now we indulge, but we're more selective in what we indulge in. It has to be really good, not something that's just okay, but something that's really good because you want to enjoy it and you don't feel guilty about that because that is a choice that you made and everything is going to be good. All right. And so if your food doesn't come out the way you like it, or things are not in order, send it back. Or if it's not what you desire, don't feel fear in that. You want to have a quality experience, okay? Whether that's fresh produce, whether that's organic meat, whether that's an interesting cocktail, whether that's larger portions when you're eating out, whatever it is, you want to enjoy what you're eating and not feel guilty when you come home. Okay. Usually the larger portions of things like pasta, for instance, not saying that you shouldn't have pasta, but again, if that's one of your favorite pasta dishes, have it. but know how to portion it out. Those are usually cheaper. They're usually higher in empty carbs and fat and sodium, and they lack the fiber and they lack the nutrients and all that stuff. But my thing is, if you really like it and you love it, then that doesn't mean that it's off the table, but you just know how to portion it out and balance it with everything else in your entire day. Not just that meal, but your entire day. All right. So take a stand for what's good for you and what's good for your body and what's good for your eating goals and your eating patterns. And the goal is to leave a restaurant. You want to feel satisfied. You want to feel like you enjoyed yourself. You want to enjoy the experience of not cooking, right? And you don't want to feel like you sabotage a whole week's worth of eating clean at home and working out in the gym or working out at home. You don't want to feel like you blew everything in one meal. All right. So I want you to remember two things today, okay? If you don't remember anything else, dieting does not mean deprivation, okay? And healthy or clean eating does not mean restricting, okay? I'm going to repeat that. Dieting does not mean deprivation. Just because you want to lose weight, that don't mean you have to give up every single thing that you enjoy. Healthy or clean eating, because a lot of times people kind of have a misconception of what healthy eating is and clean eating is. It doesn't mean overly restricting. Okay. So you can go out, you can lose weight at any type of restaurant, whether it's Indian, Thai, Italian, but the challenge is choosing the healthiest items that would fit into your calorie needs for the day, but in balancing that out and regulating how often you eat out. Okay, that's another big one too. So there's a lot of different things that come into the equation. But again, food is for fun, food is for nourishment. So you want to have that balance. Okay. And so if you need help with balancing out how to eat healthier, weight loss, one way is to just stay in tune with me. So I encourage you all, if you have not already joined my mailing list, I encourage you to do so. And because I have a weekly newsletter, so I'm always giving out good tips and good tricks and things just to keep you abreast of what the latest and greatest nutrition trends are. And so you can just simply go to my website and you scroll down to the bottom. In the footer area on the right-hand side, you will see where you can join my newsletter. And that way you'll stay connected with not only my weekly information and nutrition news, but when I have challenges coming up or when I have different things coming up, you will be the first to know about it. All right. And so I thank you. Thank you for tuning in with me and every week. And next week, we will continue on this theme about managing a social life without gaining weight, without feeling bloated, without feeling defeated. It's really what it's all about. And we're going to talk about desserts, okay? So I'm going to give you the skinny on how to include sweets and desserts into your weight loss plan or weight loss maintenance plan, all right? So thank you for tuning in. And if you found this helpful, please share this with others. And I will see you next week. Be blessed and have a good one. Bye-bye.